Same income, why is one broke and one ends up wealthy and rich? I'm gonna break down today how two people can have the exact same income and have a completely different outcome. But before we start, I'm gonna get you a get out of jail free card. In the indoctrination system, our education system, you're taught to go to school, get a job, get a 401k, and write this down. Trade time for money. That is your key factor that you should take away from this. You're taught to trade time for money, which is someone else's debt. So now, why can two people make $100,000 a year and one end up really wealthy and the other one end up broke? So I think the important thing is for me to share from a personal perspective, my old self and the new self. This is my old self right here, okay? So I'm gonna give you a real world example. When I became a personal banker going into 2007, okay, I was living the dream. I think I was making $36,000, $37,000 a year. Had a paid off 1997 Honda Civic, and I lived in an apartment, and I had cash. I was living the dream. I got back on my feet after I had a big fall, back on my feet. But the problem was, every single time I got a raise and I got a new position, what happened is I never made more money. I went from making $30,000 a year to well over six figures by the time I became a VP at the bank, but I never made more money. I was the guy on the left side, and I'm gonna break that down. So here's the difference. This guy or gal making $100,000 a year, every single time they make more money, their lifestyle increases through cars, watches, and trips. So what they do with their income that comes in, which is debt, they're actually buying liabilities, taken away from their future self, taken away from their future self. Now, some of these could be assets, but they're probably not buying the right ones. And you got trips. Now, why is a car and lifestyle creep, maybe it's a home and a car, taken away from their future self? Because there's interest, okay? So they make $100,000 a year and they buy a car that's $80,000, okay? So what happened is this person on the left extended their buying power from $100,000 to $180,000 without the actual income. This is robbing from their future self because they now have a loan at $80,000 with interest, and all they're looking for is the payment. And they don't realize that they're actually destroying their future growth because there's two things happening. The interest is in a liability that is decreasing in value, and the money they're paid in, the US dollar, is being inflated and they're losing value of their currency, okay? So the person on the left, every single time they make more money, they increase their lifestyle and liabilities. But the person on the right is who I am now. This is me now, and this was me before. So now, how I become wealthy is the person making $100,000 a year has no lifestyle creep, okay? They have a percent of income that goes into living. Let me just throw out a number there. Let's say that 30% of their income is for living, and they set that as their standard, okay? So if 30% out of 100,000 was their living expenses, they would say $30,000 per year is gonna go to living, okay? Now what happens is, when their income shoots up to $150,000, what do? They don't increase the stuff that destroys them. They keep the 30%. Now, why would they do that? Because that creates a 70% gap, okay, that is now liquidity. And this is what I started to do, which made me wealthy. And they move it into cash flow. They move it into assets, they move it into defense, and they do this through patience to buy liabilities. Okay, let me give you an example. Okay, so I bought a boat recently. I wanted a boat in 2021, I wanted it in 2022, I wanted it in 2023, I wanted it in 2024, 2025, into 2025. On the back end of 2025, I finally was able to buy the boat because I patiently waited until assets could pay for the liability, okay? So these two people make the exact same money. This one got rich and this one was broke, okay? So this is maybe where you're at right now, okay? You may have $100,000 and your lifestyle is 80% of that, or probably even more, okay? So what you need to do is you need to start getting rid of this stuff. And you need to start to get this down as far as you can, and let's say it's 30%. Now that 70%, this is important, is you need to start investing in things that create cash flow, okay? From your income and cash flow, you want to get into assets that grow over time. Okay, when you profit from those assets, you want to do some defense and get some protection. Then from there, with the protection, you start to create leverage on the right side. Okay, and you're only leveraging to do what? To buy assets or cash flow. Now, when you want something, you put it on a vision board and you sit patiently until an asset can pay for the car. Or you create a business, okay, that could have a car, okay? There's so many different ways we need to do this. So two people, I mean, this is what it should look. It looks like chaotic over here, right? Look at that. This is how people stay broke. This is where you should be, guys. Patience, cash flow, assets, defense. So it really doesn't matter how much you make. It's how much you save and how much you grow. That's the key. Not how much you save, how much you grow. So remember, it's cash flow. Cash is trash. We're moving cash flow into assets that have have fixed supplies that beat inflation. When we profit from those, we move it into protection, which you can use leverage, and we wait patiently to buy the things that we want by using OPM, other people's money, to beat the hurdle rate. So two people, same exact income. One is getting destroyed and going broke, and the other one's getting rich. So no lifestyle creep. Make sure you keep your percentages low. If you're really high right now, so if you have 2 cars in your parking lot, get rid of one right now. You can do it. Go down to public transportation, humble yourself, create a budget, get that gap, buy some assets, get some cash flow, and let's start getting on the right side of this quadrant. As we always say, warriors, rise, get your shit together. Let's go.